Parliamentary Reporters Dictation number 2 at the speed of 140 words per minute from Shekhar Shorthand Magazine. Last 5 seconds. Ready? Be ready. Start. The reason why I move this is that an item 31 you are providing for shipping and navigation on inland waterways declared by the federal government to be federal waterways. Therefore, if you retain waterways here, there will be a certain overlap between items 30 and 31. Secondly, if you use the general expression waterways, it will be susceptible to the construction that the entire control over the waterways, including irrigation and other rights, may be taken over by the center, which is certainly not the object of the original item. So, in order to show that it must have a restrictive operation, it is much better that waterways should be omitted from item 30 and brought under item 31, and later on for the development or waterways special provision is made. The idea is to preserve in their integrity all other rights of the provinces in regard to waterways. For all these reasons I move this amendment. I have no objection to Mr. Pataskar's amendment, which seeks to substitute national highways for federal highways. Sir, my only object in proposing to move an amendment to this item is to emphasize what must have been in the minds of the authors of this list. Highways and waterways fall generally within the sphere of the units, and if they are to be declared as federal in any particular case, it is reasonable to assume that the government of the unit or the units concerned would be consulted and their opinions given due weight. If the federation makes such a declaration, it will be for improving the highway or waterway ways in question and maintaining it at a higher standard than the resources of the units permit. Such being the case, it is most unlikely that any unit would raise any objection unless the proposal was coupled with very unacceptable conditions. Several of the entries in the federal list read as if unilateral action by the federal government was contemplated, although I am sure the real intention was quite different. It is expedient to remove this impression. I would not have really moved this amendment, sir, to save time. I might have taken it for granted that before a declaration like this was made, the units concerned would be consulted. But after Mr. Krishna Swami amendment, I feel a little confused as to what exactly is the object and import of this item. Is it mainly concerned with the construction and improvement of highways and their maintenance in a proper and efficient condition, or is it meant to empower the federal parliament to legislate in regard to the carriage of goods and passengers? Both items 30 and 31 as they stand are to me fairly clear. It is the amendment proposed by Mr. Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer that has aroused some doubt. I should like to have some enlightenment as to what exactly is the object of the amendments and how the entry would read with the amendments now proposed, and what its effect would be on the powers and responsibilities of the center. For reference, A. The maintenance of highways, and B. Control of passengers and goods traffic on such highways. Mr. President, I should like to express certain opinions for the consideration of the House and for the guidance of the draftsman if my suggestions are approved of. I am referring to a particular matter. As far as waterways are concerned, we agree that as far as the control of shipping is concerned, it is covered by item 31 and there is no need for its inclusion in the item 30. But there is another aspect of waterways with which we are at the present moment concerned, namely the development of power and irrigation. As a consequence thereof, we have this scheme of the Damodar Valley, in which two provinces are interested, Bihar and Western Bengal. Now, because of the present set up, the central government could not legislate on that without the concurrence of the two provinces concerned. Similarly, there is the Rihand Valley project between Mirzapur district of UP and Palamu district of Bihar. The development of this project is dependent on the concurrence of the two distinguished provinces concerned. I think that now that we are legislating anew, it is necessary that provision be made to distinguish between the two functions, the irrigational and power development aspects. In the similar reverse, or rather in the case of reverse, in which only one province is concerned, it could remain as at present a provincial subject, but where large rivers are concerned in which two or more provinces are concerned or interested, it is only proper that these should remain a central or federal subject, so that the present difficulties which we have to encounter of getting the concurrence of the provinces, asking them to bear some part of the expenses and cost thereof, all these creates difficulties, may be avoided. The provinces are notoriously poor, their resources are very meager. Take for instance the Mahanadi project in Odisha. It is impossible for that province to finance this project out of their own resources. I therefore suggest that it framing this item, care should be taken to see that there is an no encroaching on provincial rights as far as rivers in which only one province is interested are concerned, but where more than one province is interested in a river and the work is of a major nature involving power development together with irrigation, it should remain a federal subject. I am making this suggestion for the consideration of the House. I have therefore not put in any amendment, but if the House approves of this idea, it may be incorporated by the draftsman when preparing the bill. Sir, the difficulty anticipated by the previous speaker can be fully overcome by the provision of the Government of India Act enabling the federal legislature. Stop.